तो स्टार्ट करते हैं AngularJS. So this is the CDN. Just copy your CDN and we have to embed the CDN in a web page. So open your code editor. Okay, a new file. Let's say file name and then save. Doc type, title, some basic components. Meta viewport for responsive. And CSS code. Okay, so these are the basic components which we require. And now let's add the file जो हमने download किया था. So this is the file. Using a script tag, just link this external file. This is the external AngularJS file we have to embed. And now open the page in your web browser. Okay, so this is AngularJS. And see in the network panel, this file is working, okay, using browser cache. Disable the cache. So see, this is 60 KB of file. So every time this will take 60.6 KB, which will take around 0.05. Okay, so this is in milliseconds. So as we are using Google CDN, so Google CDNs are very fast. They are cloud-based servers. So see, there's not too much loading time. So it's not even 0.1 second, it's even less than 0.1 second. Okay, now AngularJS is loaded, but it's only loaded, we are not using AngularJS. So to use AngularJS, we call bootstrapping, we have to use a directive in AngularJS. So what are directives? So directives are called custom attributes. So like in HTML5, to create any custom attribute, we use data, like data hyphen name. So now it's a custom attribute like Angular. So the data name is Angular. This is a custom attribute. The same thing is AngularJS is also consuming using these types of custom directives. So one of the main custom directive to start AngularJS in a web application is NGapp. So in the HTML, I'll use NGapp, and now AngularJS is working. To test, let's create two curly braces. So these are templates. Okay, so binding expressions so we also call them binding expressions. So for templates we use these binding expressions in Angular. And now type a program like 2 plus 3 and see the output here on a browser window is 5. So this is binding expressions in AngularJS. So using this binding expression, you can directly bind any data in AngularJS indirectly in your web application. So these are called binding expression. Like in a paragraph, we want to show some two numbers or division. So for division, use, let's say, 6 divided by 2, and you will see the output is 3 in the paragraph. Now there's a flickering. You can see this. Why this flickering is happening? Because this file is loading and then this will be, these things are working. to avoid flickering, use script in the head. Okay, so if you're using script tag in the head, so there is no flickering because Angular is loading first. So ng app is your bootstrapper of Angular application. So this is a compulsory directive. Directive means custom attribute, but this is a validation error. So we cannot use ng. See, if we upload a file, so we can see ng app is not allowed. To avoid W3C validation error, use data ng app. So NGhide is validation error, but data NGhide is allowed as per HTML5 document. So now it's a custom attribute of HTML5. So now Angular app is working without validation error. Okay. So initially there is no value in NGhide. Sorry. So these are binding expression in AngularJS. So in this binding expression, you can type anything. You can also bind an array element. So this is an array 1, 2, 5, 9. So see the data, and if you use sort method, sorry. See, we can show 1, 2, 5, 9, but let's add 7, 9, 3. So my input is 1, 2, 1, 7, 2, 9, 3, and see the output is 1, 2, 3, 7, 9. So that means this is the method, sort method of array. You can also use an object here. So these are binding expressions. Using binding expression, you can directly type in your view layer, which is HTML. Sorry. So HTML is a view layer, and this is required. So now let's create an input box. So AngularJS also support two-way data binding. So what is a two-way data binding? Let's start with an input. This is an input with a new directive ng model, and I prefer using data ng model to avoid validation error. So the name of this attribute is username. Now, but all data will type in this input is stored in username. Again, use a binding expression and type username. You type something. So see, the output is there. So again, these things are working. So these are binding expression in AngularJS, and we are getting the data from this input. So this is ng model username, and there we can see our output. So see, we'll type something, and one sec. Okay, so type something, and we can see the output on the right hand. You can also do same for input type password, user pass, and there user pass. Okay, so see, it's working. Now let's do it for checkbox. So user check, and check it. So we can see true, and when uncheck, it's false. So this is checkbox. So for the checkbox, this is true, this is false. And the same thing we can do for radio. So for radio, let's say we'll have a input type radio with name, gender, with value, and data ng model. So model is user gender. Okay, so this is for male, and the second one is for female. Okay, this is for male, this is for female. Okay, Now to get the value, we'll have another span with binding expression, or we can also use data ng bind. So what is data ng bind? User gender. Now press this. 1 second. This is okay. Value. This value is male and this value is female. Now check male, we can see it's male. Check female, we can see it's female. So this is male, this is female, and we can also print value. You have selected this. So see, you have selected is already there. Now you have selected male, you have selected female. And we can also do one thing, that we can hide this. You can select it on page load. Now use data ng show. So when to show? When user gender is available. So when you choose this, you have selected male. On the page load, it's hidden. When you choose this, you have selected female. So on page load, you can see this element is hidden because I am using for the span data ng show, and for ng show, the default display is none. So we can also use data NGhide, and there we can write choose gender. So now this data NGhide, so hide means this is hidden. So now when this will be hidden, when these one of them is selected. So right now both are not selected. So see, the default output here is, so this is hidden on page load, this is showing. So on the page load we can see choose gender, but when we check this, we can see you have selected male, and if you press this, you have selected female. So see, automatically, so on the page load in the span, this is display none and this is showing. So this is visible now, but when you check this, see this class name NGhide, and what NGhide is doing, display none. So now this is display none and this is visible to the user. So interaction with the form is very easy with AngularJS. We'll add some label. Okay, so see with labels now, this is name, this is password, this is checkbox control, and these are radio buttons. Even we can also do one more thing, like for the name we want uppercase, so username dot to uppercase method. So type name in lowercase, and you can see the same on right hand side in caps. So these all things are very easy when working with AngularJS. So AngularJS, that's why AngularJS is preferred with form. So for the form interaction, these all things are very easy in AngularJS. We can also add, like in P data ng init. So what init will do, init will initialize some data. Let's say x is equal to 3 and y is equal to 5. So x is how much? Binding expression x, let's see, x is 3 and y is what? Use y. So see, x is y 3 and y is 5, and sum is x plus y. So what is x plus y? It's 8. Now change the input. Let's say it's 13 and it's 15. See, these things are working. So let's start with Angular click. So create a click function. So for click, this is first this data NGinit. So in init we have 13 and 15, and you can see for 13 and 15 the sum is 28. Now again another NGinit, but there you can't use x and y. So let's say now this is 3 and this is 5. Okay, but so we cannot use the same variables. It's like global. जैसे global में we cannot use the same variable again. Otherwise value is changed. So see, in the next expression, see again x is 3 and y is 8, and again there again x is 3 and y is 8. The reason is that what this is doing, this is overwriting the value. So there you can use x1, y1, or there you can use a or b. Okay, so these are like global variables. So you cannot change them. Okay, so now this is 13 and 15, 28, 3 and 5 is 8. Now create another div, and in this div, NGinit, so what to initialize that I is equal to 0. So let's suppose that I is equal to 0 and prefer data NGinit. So the value of I in this div is 0, and this is our I. So the value of I is how much? It's 0. So we have a button with plus icon. We have another button with minus icon. So this will decrease the value and this will increase the value. And for that, what to do? Use custom click function. So this is data ng click. So when Angular will click on this button, what to do that the value of I is equal to I plus 1 increment. And on this side, data ng click, what the value of I should be equal to I minus 1. See, so just plus this is the new value of I, click this is the second value of I. So see, we can also use ng click to add custom in features. So this is increment, this is decrement, and so still now we are not using JavaScript, means we haven't used this script tag. So we, without typing script tag, we are writing some functionalities directly in our HTML or view layer. So that's the benefit of using framework like Angular or AngularJS, that we don't need to write code separately. We can directly bind our code in our view layer. So view layer is HTML in a web application. So this is a view layer, and directly we can type our code here. Okay, so for the text tutorial, you can refer tutorial.techaltum.com. In web applications, website designing, go to AngularJS. So these all are the AngularJS tutorial. So like, what is AngularJS? It's an open source JavaScript framework. So it's a pure JS framework. So it supports two-way data binding, MVC. So MVC stands for Model View Controller. It's a design pattern or an architecture to build an application. So what is MVC? In a simple example, let's say we have this input text box. So this input is my model from where I'm getting my input data. So input means my model from where I'm getting the information. So model means my input, view means my span. So where's my span? So let's say this is I tag. So I tag is my view layer. Input is my model. I is my view, and AngularJS is working as a controller. So what AngularJS or controller will do, controller will fetch data from the model and paste it into a view layer. So this I is a view layer, this input is a model layer, and AngularJS is working as a controller, a medium in between to parse data. Okay. So setup is very easy. You only have to link this external JS file. It's very lightweight and easy. Just integrate with your application and AngularJS will start working, and then just bootstrap your application using data NGapp or NGapp. So this is very easy. What are directives? Directives are the custom attributes, like NGapp is your bootstrap, but for to avoid validation error, use data NGapp. So we have other directives: ngModel, ngBind, controller, ngRepeat, init, include, so show, hide. These are different directives. Like we are going through this one. So this is your AngularJS 1, the basic directive used in AngularJS or AngularJS 1. Okay, so the next topic in AngularJS is AngularJS form validation, and for that we need a form element with some inputs. So this is the input, a div, a label. Name is input, type text, required for validation, and a span for output. Now this is name and this is required. Another div with a button, submit. This is the submit button. So let's add some more controls. Input type age. For that I'm using input type number with min, let's say 18, and max 25. And one more control, input type email. So let's do the form validation in AngularJS. Okay, so now this is name, this is age, it should be a number, and this is email. So input type email is required. Okay, now before submitting form, there should be some labels, text on the right hand side, like please enter name, enter age, and enter email, because all are required. Let's start with three classes: dot, one, success, error. So with error class, color should be red, success color should be green, and for warning, color should be orange. So these are three colors. Now for this pen, the color should be warning. For enter age, warn class. So see, this is warning message, and in this pan, message should be enter name, because name is required, and the last one is enter email. For the email, again a span class, warning, and enter email. Now for validation, we have already done with required. So required is for name. This is the name validation. For age, minimum is 18, max is 25, and required. And for email, an email pattern and required. Now, once we start typing, this should remove, and there should be another notification that name accepted. Now start with another span. So this is the first span. This is the second span with class. This is class 1. That should be class success, and with text name accepted. Okay, so this is orange, this is green. So now when this will be displayed, now these depends on this input. So let's the name of form is contact. For input, name is uname, and data ng model is username. Now this span for this span, so this span will hide, means ng show or ng hide. So this will hide when this input is there. So you can type user model, and I think both name are same. So let's remove these inputs. Okay. So this is my name. This is my input. So this is NGhide for user model. So it's username, sorry. So type and see name accepted. And now again enter name. So this is data ng show when username is there. So see, type and name accepted. Now remove this text. Again, we'll see the same warning that enter name. The same thing we can do for age. So let's copy these two spans. And the age accepted and invalid age. For invalid age, color should be ERR. Now on page load, so what's the functionality? That enter name is already there. If we type invalid age like 0, the method should be invalid age, and if age is okay, then method should be age accepted. So this is NGhide on user age and data ng model is user age. Okay, so if you type 18, you can see two outputs, invalid and age accepted. So invalid we don't need, but on page load there are two outputs, enter age. Now if age is okay, age accepted, but if it's not okay, 17, we can see both the issues. So now one should be there, invalid age, and this should be hidden. So now for that, do one more thing. This is NGhide. So when this will be hidden, when the name of form is contact. So call. So this is hidden when contact. So contact means the name of form dot name value. The name value is suppose age. So when contact dot age is dollar invalid. So this is hidden. This is enter age. When this is valid. So for valid, this is dollar valid. Okay. So name, type something. See name accepted. When it's invalid, you can see enter name. Same thing we can do there. Name when it's invalid. So it's showing invalid. So this is valid. When age is valid, show this message, and but if same is invalid, then this invalid age should be there, but we need to hide this one, enter age. Now this enter age should be hidden. This is only visible on page load. So enter age is visible only on page load. This is visible only after interaction. So contact.age dot is valid, use AND operator, and contact dot age dot dollar pristine. So dollar pristine means before interaction. So before, if there is no interaction, then this is working. And contact dot age. See, the name is age. Dot, this is after interaction, so it's dollar dirty. So dirty means after interaction. These things are not working. One second. Contact is the name of form. Okay. Dot age. Okay. Dollar valid. So this is NGhide. One second. Okay. This is valid for interaction. Now again we can say this. Enter age and invalid age. Contact dot age dot is valid. Okay. So when to hide? When age is valid and before interaction. So contact dot age dot dollar valid and contact dot age dot dollar pristine. Okay. Now this is not pristine, this is dollar dirty. But still we can see this data NGhide. Contact dot age. Okay. No issue with this. Okay, might be some issue with the code. Okay. So once this is okay, we can see age accepted. Let's see some console error. This is NGhide. Okay, so this is data NGhide invalid and UH means this. Okay, this is WH. Okay, age. Now this should be hidden. Enter age should hide. And on page load, so see with type 1, enter age should hidden. So I think pristine is not working. So contact means this form element. So contact dot UH, this element dot dollar valid. When it is valid means it is okay and before interaction. But only age accepted should be there. Invalid age. Okay, let's reverse this. Show, and for invalid use, instead of valid use invalid.
सर
Okay.
स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है सर.
Okay, so we have changed this. यहाँ hide की जगह show and there we are using invalid. See now we can see enter age. If we type 1, then red error, and if age is 18, then age is accepted. So now these are working. And one more last span in the bottom for input type email. So data ng show when contact dot, see this input. Let's say the name is email and data ng model is umail. So this value should be umail and this should be the name. So the name is email. Now type. See, we can see enter email, type any email. We can see that it's invalid email. So see, this is the notification. And to avoid the browser specific cache, to avoid them, use autocomplete off. Okay. Now I'll type a mail ID aaa@ss. Now it's showing valid.com. It's accepted, but this is invalid as @ is missing. So type a mail ID. If it's okay as per input type email, then this is valid, else it's invalid. So this is how we can easily do form validation without JavaScript in AngularJS. So the next thing is we're starting with AngularJS controllers, and before starting controllers, we have to start with modules in AngularJS. So to build a module in AngularJS, we have to write a script tag and Angular dot name of module. Now you can assign a module name. So the name of a module is, let's say, so you can see the syntax in string name and then an array. So the name of string is, let's say, module1, and then an empty array which is called dependency injection. Let's save this in a variable so that we can reuse this. Or if you don't want to reuse, you have a single module in the application, no need to assign a variable. So module name is mod1 dot controller, means there is a controller with the module. So first type the controller name. This is ctrl1 is the controller, and then a callback function, and within a function there should be a default parameter, that is dollar one second, scoop. So scoop is the default parameter. So angular.module, the name of module is mod1, should have a controller name should be ctrl1, and then we have a function. So how to use controller and module? Now let's create a div, let's say class section. Now with this div, use ng controller. So controller means your controller name. So my controller name is ctrl1, and within this I need to type name. So name is this name, and age is this age. So now we have to define name and age inside this. So dollar scoop dot name is user, and scoop dot age is, let's say, a number. So first of all, this is not working, and we can see some console related issue. Now this error is not exactly understandable. We can see that it's showing a error at this line. So it's better to use non-minified version to check your issues. So now if using non means the developer edition, so you can see the controller with the name ctrl1 is not registered. So we have to register this controller, then we can easily use. So it's recommended that when developing an AngularJS application, first always use non-modified, the development version. But once your application is complete, then use the production version, which is .min. So .min is the production version. So now I'm using again development, and now I can see that ctl1 is not registered. So this controller one means this is registered under this module mod1. So we are not using the value of module. So this module one should be the value of ngapp. And now see, your app is working. So name is user and age is 22. So this is a module. So Angular JS is having a module name mod1. So Angular, the name of module is always a value of ngapp. And having with one controller without dependency. There is no dependency, and there is a controller. The controller name is ctrl1, and within the ctrl1 we have a callback, and for the function we have scoop.name and age. You can also pass some more data like scoop.city is Delhi and city is city now. So you can see these things are easily working now. But module is, so we can always use a single module, means there is a single data ng app. So this is a single module in our application, but we can use multiple controllers. Like, do one thing, just cut this code and assign this into a variable. So variable t is my module. Now t dot controller ctrl1 is the first value, and for the second controller, another controller, we can again use t dot controller, which is ctrl2, and now the name of user is, let's say, abc, age is 24, and city is Chennai. Now create another section or another div with controller name controller2. See, name is ABC, age is 24, and city is Chennai. So see the data types. This is a string, this is a number, this is again a string. We can also pass functions like $scoop dot here is equal to a function, and this function will return this dot 2020 minus this dot age. Okay, here is, it's a function. So for the function, we can see this. We need to call this. So call here and see the value is 1998. So see, we can use all the data types of JavaScript. We can use a string, we can use a number, we can also use a function like this. We can also use arrays and object. So like for an array, we'll have another div, controller 3, data from array. So controller 3, name, data from array. The name is array. So pass name, and we can see this data from array. So what's the data? So $scoop dot data is an array. So we have to pass some data. So from a JavaScript arrays tutorial, we'll just copy some data like this. So this is my data, scoop dot data. So this is an array. So we cannot directly print our array here. So if we type, we can see this type of data. So this is not usable information. So what to do? Use an OL with li. So use an li, and within this li use ng repeat. So ng repeat directive is used, and for this ng repeat directive use I, which is like a variable in for in loop data, and print the value of I. See, we got 7 li's, and this is the value, means this is the element of the array. So for array, I means the value. Now for the second user, let's create an object now. Controller 4. So this is data from object. So let's have an object. We need some dummy data. Okay, let's create an object first. This is an object with name, ABC, age, ID. Okay, and city. So now this data is an object within controller 4. So now let's have the fourth division. This is the fourth division data from object. We have a common class section. This is the style of all the sections. Now, in this div, the data should come, but from the JavaScript object. So within this object, we want the data. Again, we have to use the same loop. But now let's create a table. Tr td. So now for the tr, we say ng repeat I in. So this is I in data. And now let's have a td. So in td, print the value of I. So what is the value of I? See, it's ABC. And if you also want the index, so then first type I, then type J, and use two arguments, I comma J in data. Now what is I? I is the key, and what is J? J is the value. So this is the table with data from object. For an array of object type element, we can also use, so let's have one more data, but from an array of object. Controller 5 array of object. Now we want some custom data array of object. Okay. So this is one of the array of object. So scoop.data is an array of object with one array having the length of this array is 5 and 5 objects, all objects with common similar keys, name, phone, and age. So let's start with the section div, table, tr, th, name, then phone, and then age. And next here, use ng repeat I in from what? Data. So I in data. And now first td, second TD. In the first TD, print I. So what is I? I is our object. So I see some error with the code. Okay. Binding expressions. Now see the I. So what is I? I is the object. Again issue. NG controller. CTRL5. So this is your controller. So this is your object, but we only want the name of. So I dot name. So in the first, we'll see only name. In the second one, we can see phone, and then the last I dot age. So see, this is I dot name, this is phone, and this is age. If you want to sort the data, let's say from age, so you can use I in data filter order by. So in using order by, so order by with age. See, now this data is ordered by through age. So see 19, 21, 29, 35, and 40, and order by using phone. So this is as per phone numbers sequence or using name. So order by using name. So now alphabetical order on the table. So these are order by some features of AngularJS. We can also use some search related features, and that is called filter. Filter colon through search. And what is search? Input ng model is search. Okay. I think some issue with the code filter. Okay. Okay. Type 3. We can see 35 and this number with the 3. Type A. So we can only see Adam and Mary. Type Z. So no data. Type C. Type D. Only Adam. So if you want to search only Adam, just type Adam and see only the data of Adam is available, not others. Or you want to search through a email ID, type 35. So you can search the data through this. So see, this is how order by, we can use order by feature and filter to search data from the big table in AngularJS. And we can also call data through some remote server using ajax call. So for ajax call, we have a controller name, controller6, and now scoop.name is GitHub API. So name is GitHub API, and the data is, for that, use $HTTP. Now HTTP dot first